Start.
Okay, so this is the second video. This is where I'm going to actually do one of the heat bending of the plastic. So I'm going to take this one, which is flat, put it in place, and the way I set up the jig is I've got a couple of positioning rails, and then I've also got a location marker that I'm using with one of the little holes, and I put the cross beam in place. That's the bending bar, and like I had mentioned before, I actually set it up so that I know exactly what temperature I want it to set at. So basically set the temperature. I'm going to start a stopwatch. There is no exact science to this, but like I mentioned in the previous video, that once the PETG starts warming up, it'll bend and raise up, and then when it reaches like a malleable point, it'll actually relax, and that's the point when I'll take and bend the plastic, remove it from the heat source, shut it off, and then just kind of hold it in place until the plastic is set. So for the next 5.5 minutes, we sit and watch and see the exciting technology of bending plastics. Maybe we'll catch a little bit of the plastic raising, but other than that, that's really about it for the next 5 minutes or so.
Keep it running?
Yeah. Yeah, I figure I can always go in and edit it and do like the, you know, and run up the time. So since it's you know, it's about as exciting as watching paint dry.
So I'm being all shaky.
Oh, nice camera work there, neighbor.
You should have shown the radius on the...
I did on the previous one.
You did, okay.
Yeah, the 110 degree that you so nicely cut for me and sanded. Yeah, this was... I grabbed the two pieces and glued them together and clamped them for a couple of days so that we got a nice solid like 2x2 inch block, and then we figured out what the angle was, and you put a nice radius on it.
20% battery life.
That's okay. It'll hold up for the next 8 minutes that we need it. Wonder if that'll show up in the video. Oh, battery, out of battery. World has come to an end.
So you will see that end lift.
Yeah.
As it gets to the temperature.
Oh,
so the top...
Yeah, it actually goes like this.
Okay, yeah.
And then starts coming back down.
That bottom surface expands then while the top is still cold. And it relaxes. So yeah, I'll keep it here. Well, how long does it take total?
I was doing it about 10 minutes. So it was like about 6 minutes to heat up and get to a point where it's malleable, and I don't get like what I found on like some of the original tests was as if I didn't let it heat up long enough, when I went and bent it up, that the center part I had like a little bubble, because that portion of the plastic, it's almost like it warms up from the edges evenly and goes all the way, and then you want that sweet spot where that whole area where this portion of the plastic is over that heated rod, you want that all warmed up and malleable so that when you do the bending, that it does kind of stretch and give a little bit.
Okay.
This is almost as bad as like one of Clay's videos where, you know, I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm doing. It's starting to come up a little bit.
It might be.
A little bit. That'd be one of the cool things where you take it through like Adobe Premiere or something and just go zip and watch it go. Yeah, actually I had wrote times down based on the temperature setting that I found that worked really well. But that was like an estimate. Every single piece of PETG was slightly different, and I got close. What I did find was if I went more than like 6.5 minutes, the plastic started all bubbling, and basically I threw away $60 worth of plastic.
You didn't screw up too many times, did you?
I screwed up 2 of them. They were supposed to be the 2 bonus ones. There were supposed to be 3 sets of these like limited run ones that I did for the artist and myself, and it's a good thing that we decided to print 3 of them, because one of them got toasted. And
it's lifting now.
yeah, the worst part was I screwed up both sides. So I don't know if I had screwed up and like maybe bumped the heat setting and I was going too hot and running the same time, but because I was running a hotter temperature, it was just baking and cooking the plastic. So we got about another minute 20, and then I'll just pull it away from the heat source. The way I designed the jig was kind of nice. It allows me to do that. But after this, it probably won't have much use unless there's like I don't know, maybe someone finds like a warehouse filled with like 40 joust machines and then we decide to do another run of plastics. I highly doubt that though.
Anything else you got a heat pen though? This is it.
Yeah, and actually what I found out too was the company that makes these, they're no longer around.
Really?
Yeah, which is strange because it's such a great unit. They made like a couple of different sizes. I think this was like one of the largest ones, which I had to go with for the, you know, the width of this. If I went the next size down, it was actually like about 2 inches too narrow. So there's no way I would have been able to do it.
It's warm, but it's not.
Well, because you're on
hot.
the edges. It's really,
hotter in the middle.
Yeah. So another 15 seconds here.
You sure it'll be ready? Because it hasn't relaxed back down.
It will. See? Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's coming back down.
Thought it was going up still.
Mm-mm. All right, that's 6 minutes. Nice and easy. Pull it away from the heat source. Shut it off. And now I just, for the next 4 minutes, just hold it in place so that I get a good, nice, even bend all the way across. What I found when doing these too is it worked out better to actually let everything cool down completely and start each run kind of fresh and cold. And that way I had, you know, basically the same conditions for every single plastic that I had bent. If I let it stay warm in between and start the next run up right away, then my times were completely different than what I had done for the plastic before. Been nice if I could have figured out a way to, like, you know, do clamps and everything to where it was more automated and I could walk away. But given that I was only doing, what, 120 pieces, it really didn't justify itself.
How long does it have to cool?
I let it go to, I was letting it go to like 9 or 10 minutes, and then it was definitely cool enough that I had no risk of it trying to change the bend that I put into it, and that both the bend on both pieces kind of match up almost, you know, really symmetrically. They fit in really good. So another 2 minutes, and then I can just pull this down, pull the pin out, push the plastic up a little bit to release this block, and then pull the piece out.
Did you ever try doing this without the parchment paper?
Yeah, the only reason I started using the parchment was it gave me a clean surface to work with, and the parchment actually seemed to help with the heat distribution a little bit, versus just the open air of that heated rod against the plastic. I think that was the other thing that kind of helped too. I think when I was running just like the clear sheets of PETG from Granger, I did it without the parchment, and I found that, you know, before I found that sweet spot of that temperature that I'm using, that it did kind of cause the plastic to bubble, as well as it kind of melted the plastic protective layer on top of the PETG. So this is kind of nice. I mean, I get a little bit of crinkling of the low-tack mask on the backside because you're curling in, but the plastic on the top side of the PETG, it gives perfectly with it. It doesn't pull away, so it allows me to ship the plastics out with them all still covered and protected, which was nice. So another half minute and then we'll be done. Is it still raining out?
No.
Finally.
It's cold though.
Yeah. So I just pull that back, pull this forward, pull the pin out, push it forward a little bit so that I can release the prop, and voila, we've got a nice, it seems like this, no, it's bent, it's got just like a little wave right here where it could have got a little warmer, but yeah, what are you going to do? It wasn't a perfect science 30 some odd years ago, and it's still not a perfect science, but I think they come out rather nice. So, thanks for watching.